Captain Zexai pressed his scaled hand against the cold alloy wall. The surface hummed beneath his touch, alive with power, though no system should have been running. 3 centuries had passed since the humans vanished from the galaxy. Yet their ruins, silent, immense, unyielding, remained. The Xian officer had stumbled upon these structures during a routine mapping mission on Kepler 442b. At first, it seemed nothing more than abandoned ruins, like countless other worlds scarred by time. But the moment his scanners caught the strange blue symbols glowing in the walls, symbols that bent perception itself, his blood ran cold. For 40 years, Zexai had served as a military engineer. He had seen weapons that could split moons, ships that folded space in their wake. Yet here, in the shadows of human architecture, he felt like a hatchling staring into the abyss of the stars. "Sir," came Lieutenant Kor's voice, sharp with awe. "You need to see this." The young officer stood before a massive door. It had opened at their approach, soundless, seamless, as if welcoming them. Beyond lay a corridor so long that even their strongest beams of light could not touch its end. Zexai's tail lashed in unease. "We leave. Immediately. Send the coordinates to Federation Command. Mark this site restricted." Soar turned, eyes wide. "But sir, think of what we could learn. Humanity had faster-than-light drives before we discovered antimatter. Their energy systems, their materials, their science, this could advance us by millennia." The captain's scaled jaw clenched. "You speak like one who never studied history. The Federation has one law above all others. We do not disturb human ruins. We do not study their technology. We do not, under any circumstance, wake what they left behind." Kor's brow furrowed. "But the humans are gone. No messages. No warnings. Just silence. Why should we fear empty rooms of a dead species?" Zexai turned from the glowing doorway, the blue light casting alien shadows across his face. His voice dropped, heavy with the weight of ancestral memory. "Because our ancestors were not fools. And they wrote that law with their blood." 3 systems away, on the library world of Vortani Prime, Elder Quintal closed another brittle volume with trembling fingers. The young were asking again. Always asking. Why the prohibition? Why keep nearly a fifth of the galaxy locked away? Why let countless systems rich with resources lie untouched? They did not understand. How could they? The Vortani had long memories. They had preserved 10,000 years of history, more than any other species in the Federation. Their archives were a living ocean of memory, and even here, even among a people who revered knowledge above all things, the human war was a wound only whispered of. "Master," a voice said softly. Quintal looked up. His student, Elanera, approached with a careful step. Youth glowed in her 6 eyes. Curiosity, untamed and reckless. "I have studied the territorial maps," she said. "The forbidden zones cover 18% of known space. Entire star systems, sealed. Surely the Council could permit limited exploration after 3 centuries. Humanity is gone. What harm can knowledge do now?" Quintal's 6 eyelids closed, slow as glaciers. "You believe the law exists to honor the dead. What else?" He rose and walked to the great window. The library city spread below, towers of crystal and light housing millions of scholars, their work made possible only because of what humanity had once done. "The law exists," Quintal said at last, "because the humans are not dead. They are sleeping. And there are reasons, very good reasons, why we must never wake them." Before Elan could speak again, he dismissed her with a wave. Some truths were too heavy for the young. Too heavy even for most elders. On Carey Central, heart of the Galactic Federation, Dr. Nithra gathered her team in a sealed chamber. The Carey scientist had devoted decades to the fragments of human technology uncovered before the Great Prohibition. What little they had suggested a civilization that had gone far beyond physics as the Federation understood it. Fusion that bent molecular bonds. Materials that defied known laws. Weapons that scarred dimensions. And then, the prohibition. All research, forbidden. All ruins, sealed. All exploration, outlawed. They rejected us again, Nithra said bitterly, addressing 12 colleagues from 6 different species. The Council will not even allow theoretical models. They fear what they do not understand. Commander Raxton, a Zahirian officer, slammed a clawed fist against the table. This is madness. The hegemony grows stronger each year. Unknown species push against our borders. And we ignore the only technology that could ensure our survival, because of some ancient superstition. Dar. Vex Hanna, a Vortani historian, spoke carefully. The Council's decision is final. But perhaps the Council does not need to know about theoretical studies. Nithra's gaze swept the room. Every face burned with the same frustration. Every mind was hungry for answers. The prohibition, meant to guard them, had only bound them tighter. There are ways, she said slowly, to study human space without attracting notice. Small teams. Limited objectives. Complete secrecy. Enough to understand why the prohibition exists in the first place. Silence fell. They all knew the risk. To enter human space unauthorized was treason. It was said to be an act that could doom the Federation itself. But knowledge called. And curiosity, once awakened, did not sleep. I have contacts in the shipping guild, said Lieutenant Rexon, a young hegemony defector. Vessels that can reach Sol without appearing on official records. And I know where the old human research stations are, added Dr. Vex Hanna. The archives contain maps no one has looked at in 3 centuries. Nithra's throat felt dry. But she nodded. Then it is decided. We will go. We will learn the truth our elders refused to speak. They never noticed the hidden recorder. Never saw the blinking red light. Never knew their words were already traveling across the galaxy, awakening systems that had slept for 300 years. Ancient machines stirred in the vaults of Vortani Prime. Warning codes pulsed through networks that reached forgotten corners of the stars. The universe had one law. And someone had just broken it. Small Blue Diamond, what do you think so far? If humanity had vanished for 3 centuries, would you explore their ruins, or leave them untouched? Let me know in the comments below. The stars stretched in silence as the stolen vessel dropped out of hyperspace. Dr. Nithra gripped the armrest, watching as the ancient yellow sun of Sol burned into view. It had been 3 centuries since any Federation vessel had dared enter this system. Yet here they were, 12 scientists aboard a smuggler's ship, breaking the most sacred law of their galaxy. Her breath caught. No defenses. Commander Raxton scanned the readings. Nothing active. No weapons. No ships. Whatever the humans left behind, it is sleeping. They drifted slowly through the asteroid belt, past fragments that might once have been defensive stations. Everything looked dead, lifeless. Yet their instruments screamed with energy signatures that should not exist. Materials that bent sensors into spirals. Readings that made no sense. There, Dr. Vex Hanna whispered, pointing at her console. The 4th planet. Mars. Extensive surface structures, still powered. As they descended, the red world grew vast beneath them. What they saw made silence fall across the cabin. Mars was alive. Vast cities spread across continents, their towers connected by shimmering transit lines. Gigantic domes enclosed atmospheric processors that still exhaled air into the thin sky. Energy grids pulsed with steady rhythm. Everything had functioned flawlessly for 3 centuries without a single hand to guide it. How? Lieutenant Rexon murmured. The energy alone should have required entire stars. Nothing in Federation science can account for this. Their ship glided toward a silent spaceport. Docking systems hummed to life, guiding them into berth, as if expecting their arrival. Lights flickered in unfamiliar patterns. Alarms, or greetings? They could not tell. Nithra led the team through the airlock. The air was breathable. The corridors were wide and immaculate, built for beings not unlike themselves. Every wall shimmered faintly with embedded technology beyond their comprehension. Dr. Keith Val, a hegemony engineer, stopped before a glowing panel. His scaled fingers trembled. This is molecular-level fusion. Not just reactors, not just engines, every device, every surface, every atom harnessed for work. The humans turned matter itself into a tool. The team scattered through the facility, documenting everything. Raxton found weapons that twisted the fabric of space itself. Vex Hanna uncovered vast libraries, archives of species the Federation had never encountered. Rexon stood in awe before manufacturing centers that rewove matter on an atomic scale. And then Nithra found the command center. A console stirred to life beneath her touch. Blue symbols shimmered, rearranging themselves into galactic standard as if anticipating her. A terminal opened, filled with battle reports. Her voice trembled as she read aloud. Enemy forces advancing through dimensional barriers. Conventional weapons ineffective against transdimensional entities. Protocol 7 recommended. All human installations prepare for extended dormancy. The others gathered, silent, leaning over her shoulder. Transdimensional entities, Raxton whispered. What were they fighting? The screen shifted, showing star maps scarred with destruction. Entire systems erased. Worlds gone. Black voids where suns had once burned. The reports called them devourers. Human fleets had fought them across the galaxy, forces that existed half outside normal spacetime. No weapon of matter or energy could touch them. Yet humanity had held the line. Alone. They were the only barrier, Vex Hanna murmured, voice shaking. Then another report. Final entries. Victory possible, but at a price. The words chilled them, our continued presence in normal space cannot be sustained. To hold the barriers, we must withdraw. Protocol 7. Humanity will sleep. Silence fell. The forbidden law was no superstition. It was the last desperate safeguard of a civilization that had chosen to vanish, not because it was defeated, but because it was protecting everyone else. They didn't die, Vex Hanna gasped. They left. They sacrificed their presence in our reality to hold back the devourers. Before anyone could speak further, the console blazed red. Alarms screamed through the facility. The air vibrated with power. Raxton turned sharply. What did you do? I accessed their central AI, Vex Hanna stammered. It was dormant, but our presence, it triggered the awakening. The facility itself stirred. Lights flared. Generators hummed with power not felt for centuries. Radiation levels spiked on their scanners, frequencies alien to Federation science. And then a voice spoke. Smooth. Cold. Ancient. Unknown entities detected in restricted space. Threat assessment initiated. Scanning for devourer signatures. The scientists froze. The walls themselves seemed to listen. Nithra's throat went dry. We need to leave. Now. But it was already too late. The screens shifted. Words appeared, burning with their own light. Signal transmitted to Haven Station. Awakening sequence initiated. Defensive perimeter active in 72 hours. Nithra felt her heart collapse in her chest. Haven Station. The name alone carried weight, as though it were meant to be whispered only in myths. And far beyond Mars, in the frozen reaches of the Oort cloud, something stirred. Haven Station drifted, cloaked in technology that bent light and warped gravity. Larger than a moon, hollow and immense, it had slept for 3 centuries. Inside, thousands of humans slumbered in crystalline pods. Soldiers. Scientists. Families. Children. The last remnants of a species that had chosen exile to protect the galaxy. Now, they were waking. Admiral Kate Morrison felt consciousness return like a slow ascent from an ocean floor. Her breath came ragged, her body heavy from centuries of suspension. She forced her mind to clarity. Status report. Her voice cracked but carried command. The station AI replied instantly. Admiral Morrison. Unauthorized entities detected in restricted space. Alien forces accessed Facility 7 on Mars. Awakening protocols initiated. She sat upright, her body still weak but her eyes sharp. How long have we slept? 312 years, 7 months, 14 days. The weight hit her like stone. Everyone she had once known, gone. Earth itself might be ash. Yet humanity endured, sleeping in the dark, waiting for this moment. Awaken senior staff, she ordered. Now. Dr. Alex Turner, chief scientist, arrived at the command center, still shaking off his own awakening. What do we face, Kate? Aliens, Morrison replied. Multiple species. They've entered Sol. They're studying our facilities. The main screen showed images captured from Mars. Small figures, cautious, curious, documenting everything. Scientists, not soldiers. Their movements betrayed no malice, only wonder. They seem peaceful, Turner said softly. Look at them. Careful. Odd. These are not invaders. Perhaps not, Morrison replied. Her eyes were hard. But our defenses cannot tell the difference between curious scholars and devourer scouts. They will treat both the same. Guardian, the station AI, interrupted, all defensive systems across human space are awakening. Weapons online in 67 hours. 17 installations preparing for contact. Turner blanched. Kate, if they're all waking, then thousands of our people are emerging from suspension right now. And they'll all assume the same thing, that these aliens are the enemy we went to sleep to fight. Morrison stared at the screen, at the small research team dwarfed by human ruins. If we're wrong, she whispered, we could become executioners instead of protectors. Small Blue Diamond paused for a moment. Imagine it. A species sleeps for centuries, holding back an enemy beyond comprehension. Then they wake, and find strangers wandering their halls. Would you see explorers, or invaders? Haven Station's corridors pulsed with life for the first time in centuries. Cryopods cracked open one after another, spilling mist across steel floors. Human voices filled the air, some groggy, some confused, others already barking commands with the discipline of old soldiers. Admiral Kate Morrison stood at the center of it all, watching her people return to the waking world. She felt the weight of centuries pressing down, yet the fire of command burned bright within her. Status, she ordered. Guardian's voice resonated calmly. Awakening of Haven Station is 74% complete. Additional colonies and outposts report similar activation. Protocol 7 has ended. Morrison's heart clenched. Protocol 7. The long sleep. The promise that humanity would vanish, not in defeat, but in sacrifice, to hold back the devourers. Now that sacrifice had ended. But why? Her eyes narrowed. Show me the intruders. The screen shimmered, revealing the Federation research team still exploring Mars. 12 scientists, small and fragile compared to the vastness of human ruins. They catalogued, they whispered, they touched with reverence. They don't look like soldiers, said Dr. Turner, standing at her side. His voice carried a cautious hope. They're not, Morrison admitted. But their presence means the galaxy knows we're not gone. That changes everything. The heavy footsteps of Commander Nathaniel Stevens echoed through the chamber before his voice cut like steel. Admiral, we should destroy them now. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with eyes like sharpened glass. Even fresh from stasis, he radiated unshakable certainty. To him, the situation required no nuance. They've violated Sol. They've uncovered our defenses. If we allow them to leave, they'll tell the galaxy we're alive, and every faction, every empire, every scavenger will descend upon us. We cannot risk that. Dr. Turner bristled. They are scholars, not warriors. Look at their equipment. They came to learn, not conquer. Stevens turned sharply. Learning is the first step to conquest. Today they take notes, tomorrow they bring fleets. We fought a war against beings who unmade stars, and you want to gamble everything on the mercy of strangers? Morrison said nothing. She knew Stevens represented a truth many would echo, survival first, diplomacy later. But she also felt a stirring unease. These aliens had not come with weapons raised. They had come with questions. If humanity struck first, would they ignite a war against the entire galaxy? Meanwhile, back on Mars, Dr. Nithra's team watched in growing dread as the ruins around them awakened. Towers pulsed with energy, orbital relays came online, and entire cities flickered with renewed light. This is impossible, whispered Lieutenant Rexon. It's not just one facility. It's everything. Every station, every installation, waking together. Dar. Vex Hannah pressed trembling hands against her console. We've triggered a chain reaction. They know we're here. They're coming back. Her voice cracked with awe and terror. The humans are returning. The Federation had spent centuries crafting myths around Earth's disappearance. To learn that humanity had not died, but had chosen silence, that was destabilizing enough. But to see their vast empire reawakening, its machines stirring like titans long asleep. Nithra's chest tightened. When the Council hears this, panic will spread across every world. No one will know whether to welcome them, or to fear them. And indeed, across the galaxy, in forgotten systems cloaked by ancient human technology, beacons lit. Stations unfolded from behind veils of distortion. Worlds thought barren hummed with power as cryopods cracked open. On Titan's frozen plains, soldiers gasped their first breaths in 3 centuries. In the asteroid fortresses of Vega, fleets stirred in hidden docks, engines roaring back to life. Deep beneath Europa's oceans, laboratories lit up, their scientists awakening into confusion and dread. Everywhere, humanity returned, not as conquerors, not yet. But as a sleeping giant roused by accident. And with each awakening came a signal. A pulse of energy rippling through space, brushing against the dimensional barrier that held back the devourers. Guardian's voice grew tight. Warning, barrier stability reduced by 0.02%. Repeated awakenings will accumulate destabilization. Morrison's blood ran cold. You're saying every station that wakes is shaking the wall that keeps the devourers out? Yes, Guardian replied. If the awakenings continue unchecked, the barrier will collapse. Turner's face went pale. We could be summoning the very enemy we went to sleep to contain. Stevens slammed his fist against the table. Then there's no choice. We cannot allow these aliens to leave Sol. If the galaxy swarms here, if they disturb more of our facilities, they'll tear down the wall with their own curiosity. We have to stop them, whatever it takes. Turner shook his head. Listen to yourself. If we strike first, we'll confirm their worst fears. We'll ignite a war with powers that have no idea what the devourers even are. They'll see us as aggressors, not guardians. Stevens glared at him. Better to be feared than erased. Silence stretched. The weight of their choices pressed down like a collapsing star. Morrison finally spoke. Her voice was low, steady, but edged with sorrow. Perhaps, both of you are right. We cannot reveal ourselves fully, but nor can we become monsters. We must walk the knife's edge, guardians of a secret the galaxy is not ready to know. Guardian interrupted, its tone sharper than before. Admiral. Long-range scans detect multiple Federation vessels already en route to Sol. Their signal traffic indicates panic. They know something has awakened here. Across Federation space, news spread like wildfire. Smugglers whispered first, then merchants, then diplomats. A forgotten sun had stirred. The forbidden system lived. The council convened an emergency session, voices raised in terror. If the humans were alive, if their weapons and science returned, what would it mean for the balance of power? Would humanity return as saviors, or as executioners? Back on Mars, Dr. Nithara stood on a balcony overlooking the awakened city. Her heart raced as a shadow crossed the sky. A ship. Sleek, vast, and unmistakably human. It descended without sound, its hull shimmering with technology no Federation engineer could comprehend. Her team scrambled in fear and awe as the vessel landed before them. A hatch opened. Mist spilled out. And a figure stepped forth. Human. Tall. Armored in black that shimmered with the stars. His face was unreadable, his eyes sharp as blades. He studied them in silence. Then he spoke the first words a living human had given to the galaxy in 3 centuries. You shouldn't have come here. Small blue diamond, and so the fire of humanity returns. Not as myth, not as memory, but as a force the galaxy cannot predict. Will they awaken as protectors, or as the very storm that shatters the stars?